Hello and welcome to QR Tuesday. Today we are with our national sales manager, Craig Pagano. We just put out this 51-page flyer that has a bunch of new promos. So we took our customers' top questions about 4 of the products within this catalog, and we are going to answer them for you. How are you doing, Craig?
I'm doing well, Marie.
That's good. All right, so since we only have 10 minutes or less, let's jump into this.
All right.
All right, so let's see. Okay, so this is about our first question here. All right, so our first question is, I currently have a lot of cylinders to manage. Some are out of hydro, some are customer owned, some go to different branches. Do you have something to help me manage them?
Yeah, we do. We have our, for years and years, one of our core products has been cylinder ID collars. We have them everything from a medical cylinder up to a large cylinder. It can go over a cap and so forth. They're great for if customers are probably, especially right now, a lot of customers I would envision are having a lot of cylinders come back to them. You can identify if it's a customer-owned cylinder, if it needs to go to a branch, or if we have ones that say if it's out of hydro. We have ones that say need to be repainted. We can pretty much custom imprint anything on the collar that the customer wants, or we just have plain colors in different colors. So we can do everything from a clear to a neon pink color if you wanted for cylinder identification. A lot of customers will assign a certain color to a customer-owned tank or to a specific customer location. And they're a great way to manage your cylinders, especially now with the influx of a lot of stuff coming back.
Amazing. Yeah, and we have plenty of options here in our promo flyer. Okay, so let's find our next product. I'm gonna move us up here. Okay. Da, da, da. All right, here's our next one. Okay, this is over here. And again, more labels, I guess not collars, but okay. So we constantly receive calls about doer operations with customers using the doers asking what is normal operation and what isn't normal operation, what valves are allowed to open and not open, is the frost normal, isn't it normal? Do you have something to help clear up these questions with our customers?
We do. One of our products that we have is our DL14A label that fixes to the shoulder of a liquid cylinder container. It will explain operation on the liquid cylinder. What's normal? Is the frost normal? Which valve do I open? Which valve can I not open? Where's the pressure relief? This really is a great tool to show customers, or our customers that, especially when they deliver something, the driver leaves and someone can easily walk up and read the little icons or the little bubbles on the label, and it will identify this is the liquid valve, this is a vent valve, this is the pressure relief. And then it also talks about, yes, if it's normal frosting up about the top of the knuckle manifold, that's normal operation. If it's frosted all over, it's potentially could be a bad vacuum. So it's a great way to really help your customer service and the complaint calls coming in, because the customer can read it and they can look at it and go, oh, okay, that's normal, or that's not normal. And it's a great tool that we've had for over the years, that especially a lot of universities and a lot of laboratories that some of them don't have a lot of experience with managing and working with liquid cylinders, new grad students and so forth. And so it's a great safety warning. They can read it and look at the different things on it and answer most of the questions themselves without calling into our, your customers' customer service.
Great. Yeah. And just to clarify, that's this label right here.
Yes. So
all right.
Operation and common questions. And it's a great product that we put out, and we've had it for a number of years.
Yeah, it's simple, but it fixes a lot of problems and a lot of call-ins.
It really does. It really does do that, and with just by reading it, because a lot of liquid cylinders, they haven't been serviced. There are not a lot of labels on stuff. So if you have a nice cylinder management program, it's a great way to put one of those on, put it next to your logo, And they'll go, oh, I can read that and say, oh, that is normal operation. That's not normal operation. That is the liquid valve. That is the vent valve. That's the pressure building valve and so forth.
Perfect. And then let's find our next one. Got a bunch good vaporizers, lab doers, hose parts. Okay. Oh, did I just, oops. Okay, here we go. So this is about this product up here. We get calls about how loud a liquid cylinder is when it blows off and sometimes scares people. Do you sell anything to quiet the sound?
That's a great question. That product right there is made by Generate. It's our LPR, as we designate. It's designated for a liquid pressure relief, and it can be easily identified by all the other older Generate ones. It's got a rounded band on the back end, and it will say for a liquid cylinder use only. It was developed. It was really developed because a regular PR or a pressure relief down, if you look at about the middle of that page right there, they would do what they were supposed to do. When the tank hit its set pressure, it would open up, but it was extremely loud. We had a situation years ago. I was working with a customer out in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area. The lab lady threw up years of work because it blew, and it can be very loud, and she tossed her tray up, and it's scary. It's very scary. It sounds like almost like a very loud gun going off, and maybe not as loud as that, but it's extremely loud. And then it would reset, and it would constantly do this. The tank was at its set pressure. They had the pressure building system on. They really weren't drawing off the tank. And so a few years later, Generate did a lot of development work on the LPR, and they came out with it. And the way it does is they redesigned the poppet design in it, that they put pockets in it actually. And so almost the pressure relief valve acts like a back pressure regulator. You'll start to get a weep, and then the tank will fully do what it's supposed to do. It will relieve itself, but it will do it in a quieter fashion. It doesn't have that initial pop and bang. It builds up, it will relieve itself, and it will repeat until it seats itself below its set pressure. It's a lot of the other things they have too. They developed, they have a micron screen in the back of that pressure relief. A lot of people don't understand. There's all sorts of things in a liquid cylinder that somehow they get in there from one way or another. The float rod was out. So I've seen Teflon tape is one of the biggest things that will trap a lot of those particulates, and before it gets through the seat. And that way it doesn't get stuck between the seat and the poppet inside how they're designed. And that a lot of time would make the valve weep open for a very long time. It wouldn't necessarily blow, but you would get that weeping, constant weeping. And that's because there was probably a particulate stuck in between the poppet and the excuse me there, the poppet and the seat. So gotcha. It's any little, it's a very tight tolerance right there. And anything, even like I said, a piece of Teflon tape, it can get stuck in there, and then it will constantly make it weep. And so Generate did a fantastic job redesigning that several years ago. It's very popular. A lot of universities and laboratories really like it because it's not as scary when it lets off.
Yeah, that's a wild story. I feel so badly for that lady, but
exactly.
Good thing Generate makes those. Okay, so now we're on to our last question. Again, these are all the products within this flyer, so lots of good stuff in here. Okay, so we're going to talk about this product right here. Are we allowed to use dish soap to leak check medical cylinders?
Unfortunately, you're not. A lot of people do use it, but a lot of dish soaps will contain hydrocarbons in them. And hydrocarbons can build up and cause, obviously, can cause a fire over times with certain hydrocarbons. So they really recommend not using a dish soap for leak testing. It will cause buildup, almost like a waxy buildup on the medical valve. So the leak check that we sell is all part of the approved by the FDA and so forth, that it doesn't contain any hydrocarbons. There's different leak checks, and depending on where you live, they make some that will go down to lower temperatures because you're not just freezing water. It's got certain products in it that will keep it from freezing. They make other types of leak check that have fluorescent colors in it, or a fluorescent green type color. It's a very heavy leak check. Our most popular one is just our LC-1 gallon. It's probably the one we sell the most of. And we also even sell it in a 55-gallon container of a concentrate that people can pump it into their own 1 gallon and mix it and have it on site, depending on how much medical cylinders you're doing. But most customers will buy it, by the case, four gallons to the case, and it's great. It's all approved. It's one of the top ones out there that we have, and it like I said, you won't get any hydrocarbon buildup. It's allowed by the FDA, and it's all compliant.
Great. Wonderful. Okay, well, those are all of our questions for today. Thank you, Craig. And I just want to let everyone know there's a lot of great products in here. We do get a lot of questions about the CGA fitting restraints. Did you want to touch on those, Craig? I think we have a little bit more time.
Yeah, those are another great product to be compliant with. They're not compliant for medical, but they're compliant. They're mainly used for industrial. If you read some of the CGA specs, it's not required. It's recommended, but not required on industrial cylinders. But it's a great way to keep customers from taking off your brass fittings. Those fittings can be expensive to the distributor when someone takes it off and wants to just get to a pipe thread on it. There's a reason that they're on there. They're meant so you don't remove your proper CGA, so you cross contaminate from an oxygen to an argon to CO2 or whatever it might be. And if you do put these on and then you see them that they're off, your driver should note that, say, hey, someone took this off, and should look into that. Why was that taken off? I've gone to distributors made calls out with distributors, and I've seen their fittings literally on the ground, that because the customer wanted to pipe something in or didn't have something that made it up to the CGA connection. So it's a great product to stop some of that, or at least people recognize, oh, hey, maybe that's not meant to be removed.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Wonderful. Well, thank you, Craig. And we're back at the beginning here, but I appreciate all your time. And again, this is Craig Pagano, who's our national sales manager. If you have any questions for him, he can be reached at sales@rmimfg.com. Or if you have questions for Ratermann, feel free to comment on this post or email us at sales@rmimfg.com, and we're happy to help.